Welcome to Capture the World with D. Interviews with companies and individuals to learn more about digitally capturing the built world. Video, drone, 3D tours, pictures, panoramas, and more. And now your host, a social influencer and community activist, Dee Johnson.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Capture the World with Dee. I'm your host, Dee Johnson. Sorry for the slight delay, but we're all here now and we're all good. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest. He's a longtime friend of mine and a wonderful person. He's the owner of Event Architects, a company that can help you with any of your events, whether they're virtual or live. So without further ado, please help me welcome Jeff Smith. Hey Jeff, thanks for joining me today. How are you?
Morning, Dee. Thanks for having me on the show today.
Well, I'm glad we all finally got together.
Yeah, sorry I was a little bit late.
No problem. We're here. Life is full of ups and downs, and the main thing is that we all got here. So, yep. So as I was telling everybody, you and I have been friends for a long time. Gosh, it's been like over 10 years or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right, because that's when I had my townhouse, yeah.
Yeah. We met actually when I was doing an eviction for him. And we've become fast friends. And I've actually worked with Jeff before in the past, and he's a great guy to work with. He's a great boss. So why don't you start out by telling everybody a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your company and how it sort of started and how it grew to become what it is today.
Sure. So the company I own, we do corporate meetings and events. So we do a lot of, we do all the audio, video, lighting, staging, CAD design, all of that for corporate clients. We do a lot of stuff for like eBay, PayPal, VMware. There's a bunch of others, but those are some of the big ones. We've done small stuff that's just, a couple people in a boardroom to, we did an event in Vegas one year for 8,000 attendees where Imagine Dragons was the entertainment in the evening. We started in 2004. We were actually started by my former business partner, John Demarest. He started the company. He hired me actually in 2012, and I became a 50% owner in 2013. And then in 2016, he actually wanted to take the opportunity to retire, spend more time with his kids and stuff. So I took over. I bought out the other 50% of the business from him and been running the company since then. When John started the company in 2004, it was him and one other employee. And then we used part-time and freelance and stuff like that to fill in where we need more labor. And now we've actually got 9 full-time employees, and then we still use part-time and freelance. And the company's grown a lot over the years. We've gotten more warehouse space. We've gotten some office space to be able to spread out a little bit. We've probably tripled in business other than for the year of 2020. We did a lot less business then. Yeah. But that gave us the opportunity I took the opportunity as a business owner to give my guys a chance to get all the projects that we're going to get done one day. Well, hey, one day finally came. If you want to have a job and still get paid, let's get a lot of that done.
Yeah.
And I think that's given us a good position we learned a lot about doing virtual events. We built a bunch of video server computers for stuff like that. So it's given us the opportunity to get into that market, but also catch up on things that we wouldn't normally have ever really caught up on.
Mm-hmm.
I actually started out in the industry. I did audio and lighting for my theater in high school. And really liked it. And then did some of that in high school. I did a little bit of it in church. And then, funny enough, a friend of mine wanted to go on a date with someone, but she didn't want to go by herself. So she did a double date with me and someone else. And actually turned out to be a really weird guy that she didn't like. But he worked at the convention center in Santa Clara doing the AV for them. So he and I talked a little bit, and he offered me like a part-time, just, work as needed job there, which I thought was really cool. And I started working there. I started the last week he worked there. And within a year, I was actually the operations manager there.
Doesn't surprise me.
And 3 months later, I became the director.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
Which was a good experience, and I learned a lot working there. I was there for quite a while, and then I left and went to another company for a while, and then left, and then came and started working for Event Architects. It's been a long journey doing a lot of the same kind of stuff at different companies. Um, but owning your own company is nice, and it gives me the ability to do things kind of the way I want, but I also give my employees a lot of latitude to, as long as you guys are going to take care of the client and do the right thing, go for it.
Yeah. So I have to say a few comments. So you're such a nice guy, and you're very nice to work for. You're reasonable. You're just a good person and a good boss, which is why you've climbed the ranks so quickly. Your knowledge and what your guys do is incredible. So I did work with Jeff. They were doing an event where Hillary Clinton was speaking. And the setup they had was amazing. It was incredible. Their competence was, great. I got to meet some of the really top-notch people at eBay at that time. I actually saw Hillary Clinton in the flesh. After we had to wait, she made us wait for 2 hours.
Yes, you did.
And then we had to leave the room so the Secret Service could sweep the room. And then they were like standing all over the place. So it was definitely an interesting experience, but it was a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
So I know that you used to do a lot of live events until 2020 hit. And I know that 2020 has been a hard year for you, and that you've had to pivot to virtual events. So tell us a little bit more about how you can help people who are interested in holding a virtual event, and how you can help them.
So a lot of the things that we do for the virtual events is we'll do something like a discussion like this. We'll record it ahead of time, and then we can edit it and clean it up. We can also include like lower thirds. We can do virtual backgrounds and stuff. But a lot of it is to just take the mundaneness and how boring a Zoom meeting is and kind of polish it to make it look more like an actual, a nicer meeting, like cleaning up the audio, putting lower thirds for people so they have titles, doing a video playback and stuff like that, and kind of rolling that all into one nice package. One of the things that we've done is we built some, vMix is a software very similar to OBS, and there's some other similarities, but we chose vMix for its ability to do call-ins. So we can have up to 8 callers call in remotely, just like a Zoom call, but they're all individual, so I can get better audio from them. We can also then send them the screen that they see. We can send them what the slides look like, or what the video is going to be, or the other callers. And it gives us a lot more control than just doing it inside of a Zoom meeting, where you don't have as finite a control of the individual people presenting. It gives us that ability. And then we can also, by doing that, we can make an individual recording of each presenter. So if you wanted to edit that later or cut segments out, it's a lot easier than, oh, here I have the Zoom meeting, I got to make sure I keep highlighting the right person or making them small, or I spotlighted the wrong person at this point, or oh, this person had their audio muted. We can take away all that and make it a more appealing meeting.
So do you have any examples?
I don't have any examples that I can show right now, because a lot of them are corporate things that we've done internally. Like we did an internal meeting for PayPal for their all hands, and that's a little bit that's challenging for us, that we're actually going to make a kind of a demo reel ourselves. Because a lot of the things that we have done are proprietary for specific clients, or have information that we can't share.
Okay, yeah. So I know that eBay and PayPal are big accounts that you do.
Yeah, and one of the things with doing the virtual stuff that's been hard is companies like eBay and PayPal and even VMware and some of the others, they can do a lot of the services that we offer. They can do that internally. They have teams to do that. It's more, they need assistance when it's the larger meetings and they need a lot of equipment and stuff like that, which that's hard for them to do. But hosting a bunch of virtual meetings is fairly easy for them. PayPal had brought us in for the meeting at the end of the year because they wanted to take a little bit of stress off of their team. And it was going to be, since it was the final all hands for all year, they wanted a more polished event and they felt they could provide themselves. Not that their team is not competent, it's just they needed more bodies doing some more technology stuff than they had available.
Okay. So I know that you actually travel as well, right?
Yep.
Because you're always
Uh,
talking about going to all these crazy places.
yeah, we've traveled all over the United States. We actually did a 30-day travel for VMware a couple years ago, where we went to Macau, we went to Toronto, Canada, we went to France, and we went to, I think, Singapore. And it was all back-to-back conferences. So my guys were gone for, I think, like 31 days straight, just
Wow.
traveling. They would go to a city, they were there for 7 or 8 days, set up the event, do the event, tear the event down, fly to the next city, do the same event, and they did that all over the world.
Wow.
And it was pretty interesting. The guy said it was getting a little long toward the end. They were done traveling.
Yeah, I'm sure they miss their families too. That's a long time to be gone.
Families, but it's also like, okay, I've had to pack clothes for 30 days or
Yeah.
clothes,
Yeah.
and I'm in a different city. And we tried to make it so that at least in the cities they were in, they at least had maybe one day to go look around. But in some of the places where you've never been, that's not really like that much to go look around. It's one day.
Yeah. Hmm. Okay. So if people want to use your services, they can book you even though they're not in the Bay Area, because Jeff's in the Bay Area here with me.
Yeah,
But
we're in the
they
Bay Area, but we have resources everywhere. So if it doesn't make sense for us to actually travel to go places, we have some partners that we work with. We actually have a partner even on the East Coast, that I've worked with him for, probably 10 plus years, if not more. And we joke internally that he's our East Coast warehouse. Um, because he is. He's had shows for us that we're out there.
uh-huh.
We've done stuff for him here. It just, if it's one of those things that doesn't make sense for either one of us to travel, it's like, well, hey, you're already there. You just take care of this for us.
Right.
But yeah, we can do stuff all over the world. We try to stick to the United States because flying out of the country is sometimes problematic. But like I tell all my clients, if you have the money, we'll go anywhere.
Yes. Okay. So what if I'm like I've created like a virtual, like I want to create like a store or something, and I set it up. You can help me set that up and then videotape something with that,
Yeah,
or
we can help you make like a commercial that you were going to show for it. Whether it be something that we brought you into like a studio scene to record, or if it's something that we needed to do virtually.
uh-huh.
We've done services like that. A lot of the stuff that we end up doing more is recording for like multiple presentations and stuff like that, and then editing that down to a video that you could post on like YouTube or Facebook, or even something similar to what we're doing right now, where it's coming in as part of a Zoom call and then it's being broadcast on Facebook.
Hmm.
Uh, we've done a bunch of fundraising stuff where we can help collect money, and we can actually have a real-time ticker of the money growing as people are donating more and things like that.
Cool. And I know you do graduations too, right?
We do graduations. It's kind of one of the things that we don't do it because it's a big money maker for it. We do it because the couple of guys that we have some graduations for actually enjoy it. There's one of the schools I actually do a graduation for because it's the high school I graduated from, and it's just kind of nice to go back there and be the sound guy for the graduation, and it's easy compared to the corporate stuff we do. It's low stress because it's a high school graduation. But it's still important and still needs to be done right.
Uh-huh.
But it's get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, set up. They do the rehearsals at like 9 or 10, and then we just sit there the rest of the day waiting for the graduation. So it's pretty nice, pretty relaxing. And it's nice to be able to spend a day outside instead of spending a day sitting in a corporate, environment somewhere or inside of a convention center or
Yeah.
something like that. It's nice to get to be outside and have some fresh air, and it fills in the summer a little bit for us. We all kind of joked last year because we bought some new PA, some new speakers and things like that, that it was going to be one of the first years that we actually internally owned enough equipment to do all of our graduations, and then they all got canceled.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll be back this year.
Yeah, one of them actually already booked for us, and I think the other is going to follow. And I think hopefully by June, everything's loosened up a little bit so that we can do some things like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see it when we can go back to live events
Yeah.
so that you guys can actually get back to work.
Yeah, and it's not just us; it's impacted a lot of other things.
Yeah.
If you look at some of the food and beverage companies,
Yeah.
and you look at the catering companies and things like that, it's been a hard year for a lot of those. And I know some friends of mine that haven't worked since March. They've had nothing.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, a lot of the people that I deal with are in real estate or associated with real estate, and that's just been booming since the whole
Yeah,
COVID thing came
yeah,
about. So that industry has been kind of lucky, if you will. You can say
yeah,
that. But I think things in that realm are starting to slow down a little bit and go back to normal. So we'll see. And yesterday, in California anyway, we got the stay-at-home restriction got lifted. So slowly, hopefully, we're heading back to more normal
yeah. Now
lives.
you can have your sporting events, but no attendees. But that's still progress.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
it's
that's one of the things I think is going to help us. It's been even hard, and especially now that we're into the winter, is some of the stuff that we did during the summer was outdoor concerts and things like that, where people could spread out, or you were in your cars.
mhm.
But we can't really do that, and it's harder to do that in the winter when it's 48 degrees outside. Um,
48. Yeah, we complain when it's 48.
yes, we do complain.
Hey, it got down to freezing last night. We were very cold.
Yeah, and for California, we don't do well with cold. We're a bunch of big babies.
But still, I saw people dining outside in the news yesterday, so
Well, that's because it just opened.
I thought, oh my gosh, who would dine outside right now? It's freezing.
Yeah, and we've done some stuff like that. We did a thing in the Santa Cruz Mountains for a company that was outdoor. What was it, 2, 3 months ago?
Uh-huh.
But yeah, in the morning up in the mountains, it was 45, 46 degrees, and they had outdoor patio heaters and everything all over the place. And
Yeah.
it was nice for what they were doing, but it was still, not like you would normally have inside of a convention center or something like that. It was all outside and a little bit cold, and people had to tromp through the wet grass and stuff like that. But it still got their event the way they wanted, which was good.
Cool.
And they even did it as part of the people were in the Santa Cruz Mountains and part of their people were in San Francisco and in New York. So we did a video telecast between the 3 locations so that it could feel like it was one group of people that would normally just get together but couldn't.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. Cool. All right. So, what sets your company apart from every other company?
I think the biggest thing that sets us apart is the people that we have. We have some very good individuals that want to do the right thing for the client. Since we're a little bit smaller in our industry, we don't have as much overhead. But the biggest thing, and I've said this the entire time that I've worked in the industry, and a lot of the people that I've worked for, I've worked with for 15 plus years. It's the people, and the people are what make most companies different. Everyone can buy the same equipment, but it's the people you have using it that want to do the right thing for the client, that actually care about what they're doing, enjoy what they're doing, and bring that to the table, but also bring creativity and the willingness to do the right thing.
Yeah, so I think that's true in any business. It's like you have to have employees that have a certain competence level, but after that, it's the passion, right? And and a lot of people have told me, I don't hire you for the skills that you have now. I hire you because I know the type of person that you are, and the technical stuff you can learn, but it's that passion and that caring for the customer. Well, since I'm in customer support, I know, I think it's sort of this, it's very important. And I think a lot of companies don't value that. And
No.
especially in your business where you are customer facing, every one of your guys is, right?
Yeah.
So how you're perceived and how much you really care. And it comes from the heart, and you can tell you can't fake that, right?
Yeah. And it's the willingness to take whatever the client's concern or issue is and figure out a way that we can solve it with what we're given, but also figure out a way to solve it that fits within their budget and is a solution they're going to be happy with. There's a lot of people who don't want to do that. They're just going to be like, well, you didn't tell us about that, so we're not going to fix it.
Yeah.
Or you should have told us about that 2 weeks ago, and then we would have dealt with it then. It's like, no, we need to deal with the problems now. And that's one of the things that I feel with the staff that we have. All of my guys want to do the right thing, and they'll figure out a good solution on their own. They don't need to call me every 5 minutes to be like, well, the client wants to do this now. What do I do? It's like, no, you guys are there. You can figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And listening, right? Listening to what they want. It's just funny because when I met Jeff at first, I was doing a lot of woodworking, and I was complaining about I couldn't find my glue and I didn't have any glue. So for Christmas, he shows up with like 3 different kinds of glue. It was like, yeah, he got me a gift because he listened to what I was saying. So, yeah, I mean, you're special in that way, in that you care and you listen. And when I worked with your guys, they were not just warm and welcoming. They were nice to me, right? And,
Yeah.
you know,
And even for what you were doing, like for that eBay event you did for us, it was something that you hadn't done before, but everyone that was there showed you what to do,
yep,
and you're welcome, and it worked out great.
yep. So you want to know everybody want to know what I did? It,
Sure they do.
okay, so when somebody wanted to speak and ask a question, that you had to give them a mic. So I was the mic runner, and I held the mic, and I would run around the room when somebody raised their hand and hand them the mic. And one time, I think it was the CEO of eBay or something, he thought that I wanted to talk because I was holding the microphone. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So,
Could have asked whatever question you had.
but it was a lot of fun, and I got to see Hillary Clinton in person, and she was really good. She was a good speaker.
And I think that's one of the important things with our organization, with Event Architects being the way it is that we can take people that have never worked in our industry but have a passion to do the right thing, or able to listen and learn, and we can bring them in and have them do a job for us that is important, but is not something that we always have the ability to do. And that's why we have a very flexible staff of part-time and freelance, and we'll reach out for, just like we did with that event, is because we had so much to do, we needed to get some additional support from that. So we reached out to people we felt would be competent for that.
I can run around and hand people an object. It was a lot of fun. I think I did that a few times for you guys, but yeah.
And it's one of those things for us, high profile or not, it's still just as important. In whether it's, two people meeting in a boardroom that need a screen and projector, or our concert we did for VMware that had 8,000 attendees with Imagine Dragons playing, it's just as important to us. And we put just as much effort into making sure the right things are done.
So you had mentioned that some of these events were stressful. I can imagine, like, if something goes wrong, everybody's going to be looking at you, right?
Well, and yeah, because there's a lot of logistics behind the scene of making sure that all the people got there, have all got their hotels, all the equipment came from our warehouse. For that particular event we did for VMware, we had 5 truckloads of equipment that came from the Bay Area that had to drive to LA. So it's making sure all the trucks get there. And then if one of them gets lost, or, something bad happens to it, figuring out what to do about that. Or even at that, you're in Vegas, you need another piece of equipment or something broke. What do you do about that? So it's having resources to be able to take care of all that, but then still just getting all the labor to get everything done, and making sure that all the little details are taken care of. And it can be stressful at times, but a lot of us that have been doing that for a long time, that's what we really like. We like when it's crazy busy like that, because you get to sit down at the end and be like, yeah, we just did this concert with Imagine Dragons and 8,000 attendees in an arena. We just did this corporate meeting with 3,000 people in the audience, and they had an enjoyable event.
Yeah, you pulled it off. Well, when I was working with you guys, everybody sort of knew what they were doing, and they were really organized.
Yeah.
They were really nice. They didn't look stressed out to me, even though I know it's stressful, because if one thing, it could just go wrong very quickly, right?
Yeah. So
you have to be ready to react and all that. And they were terrific. I have to say it was one of the best group of people that I've worked with, and I know why. Because it comes from the top.
And it's also weeding out the people who are just there to get a paycheck. It's making sure that, and I don't think we have any people that work for us part-time, full-time, whatever, that are just here to get a paycheck. They're here because, the paycheck's important to us. They need to live and eat and all that. But if they have a passion at some point for what our industry is doing, what we do as a company, they're interested in the technology aspect of it. So they want to make a good product, or they want to make the client feel that they're taken care of.
Yeah, cool. Well, all right. So if anybody is watching who's interested, it's the Event Architects. Their their website is www.eventarchitects.com.
It's eventarchitectsinc.com.
Oh, sorry, Inc. I forgot. Eventarchitectsinc.com. The CEO and owner is Jeff Smith. If you need any help with a virtual event or even a live event anywhere in the U.S., reach out and give them a call. They're a great crew, and they'll help you out and take care of you. Anything else?
Not anything else I can think of. Thanks for having us on. I appreciate that. And thanks for being flexible so I could get my dog where it needed to go.
Yes, we all know who the most important people are or things are in our lives. So I completely understand. And life is all about dealing with things as they come up, just like with your job, right? All right, no problem. Thanks everybody for watching and joining today. This has been Capture the World with Dee. I'll see you all next week. Please stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody.